Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna revisit the tracker, the FlowMotion one that I reviewed from before, and there's several reasons why it's really important to address this. It's almost been a year that I've had this device, so I wanted to kind of summarize my experience, how it's been, what it's like. Address the elephant in the room, and do some couple of things just so that people are aware of the status of this device, of the company, and all of these things. So let's get going. When I first reviewed this tracker or stabilizer, basically the bottom line was it's a great stabilizer, but software was extremely flawed, and there was hope that they will fix these issues because hardware is good. I expressed some concerns about the build quality of the handle and other things like that. So let's see, where did the company get to in almost a year that they had time to actually issue software updates for both platforms. In almost a full year, the whole company produced exactly nothing. They kind of fixed some of the bugs for iOS, improved leveling, which worked worse, and then a little bit better. But unfortunately, there was never an option to manually kind of fix it. It was just automatic. He does his gimbal thing, and then woohoo, I'm leveled. But if it's not leveled, and in many cases it wasn't, you're screwed. There was nothing you could do. There was no manual trimming or anything like that. And those are really simple things to actually add and kind of necessary. Android still doesn't have that at all. So for Android, if you're not leveled, that's about it. You can now update the firmware, and that took about half a year, I think, to actually get to that point. The features that were missing are still missing. No live streaming, no panoramas or anything like that. And it's the same for iOS and Android. For Android, there's actually quite a lot of problems, much bigger problems, and that's the fact that it doesn't recognize video recording modes for newer devices. And it recognizes something really broken and weird. So if you actually try to use that, then it doesn't work. So essentially, if you have a newer device, and even if it can physically fit, you can't really use it because software is totally bugged out. If I were to rate the company's performance as far as the software development goes, it's a 0. It's not even a 1. After using the device for an extended period of time, some hardware issues have also resurfaced. First among which would be the design of this stabilizer phone holder. So while these are padded on the inside and they work actually really well to protect your device, there's no padding whatsoever on this main surface. And basically this is where your whole phone touches this entire surface. Now this is plastic, so it's probably not going to scratch your phone, but there's a different issue. For example, iPhone 6s Plus that I use is a whole metal unibody or aluminum unibody, and when it is pressed onto this surface, this is hollow. And basically there's a battery and there's a lot of empty room in there. So what happens is that this becomes a resonator box, which receives a lot of hum from these micro servos, which are operating at incredible speeds. Now you don't hear clicks, but you hear a hum, constant hum. And when your phone is pressed upon the back of it, if you're trying to actually capture sound with this without an external microphone, it's impossible. It just doesn't work. And I'll show you an example. Right, so I'm here. I'm gonna start my hike, and occasionally I'm gonna start recording with the FlowMotion, and I'm using my iPhone 6s Plus. That sucks a lot. I did not notice it because I was using other phones that have plastic backs or a glass back, and then you don't have that issue. But in this combination, the iPhone and everything, then it really sucks. What really puzzles me, this has been basically specifically designed for an iPhone, so how did they miss that? And it's not just me, other people are also having that same issue. So it's a huge problem. Sorry that I didn't see it before. I simply didn't test it with an iPhone, and I didn't even think that it would be an issue, but it most definitely is. Another thing that some of you who viewed my original video was that I expressed the admiration on how the stabilizer itself has been made, but I also expressed some concerns regarding the build quality of the handle, and it felt like it was built by another company at a lower quality level. And sure enough, this is now the cap of my joystick that simply fell off. So there is no joystick cap, it's over here. I tried to glue it with a dab of glue, but that didn't work because the design of it is just ridiculously flawed, and the quality of the plastic just crumbles. It just doesn't work. The only solution that I could do is drill a little hole here, drill a little hole in this one, and then put a little metal part in there, put it in, screw it in, glue it in, and then it works. But that's just ridiculous. Quality of the handle, yeah, my first impressions were right. It is bad quality, and you can feel that plastic, it's just not good. It leads me to another problem, which is a huge one: lack of the strap. It baffles the mind that there isn't even a strengthening point for a strap. It's unbelievable. Another hardware issue is basically just the engineering and the design of it. Math was wrong. Somebody who was doing the width of the whole thing is wrong. So, for example, I have a wider phone, bigger phone in here, but it comfortably fits within the confines of the clamp. So it is within the projected design. However, if you end up having a large phone, the clamp will hit the engine. The math itself was off. The engineering is not good enough. I fully understand that it's not designed to support all possible phones. That's fine. However, if you design a device that it has a maximum range for the clamp and your phone comfortably fits in there, you didn't have to push it in or jam it, I mean, there's even some more room left, then you expect that thing to actually work. This doesn't. It just doesn't. It gets stuck. But all of those issues basically pale in comparison with the biggest one, and that's the fact that on end of June this year, the company has declared bankruptcy, which is a horrible thing, but it's not as horrible as what the users are reporting, and that's this. Not all orders have been delivered. Some of the users have been still waiting for 8, 9 months or even a year. Paid for the device, did not get it. They requested refunds back, for example, I think in April, did not get refund at all the way until the bankruptcy was declared, after which point they said no refunds will be issued, no devices will be delivered. That's just absolutely horrible. And the article that was online, basically when you read through it, their attitude is we're very proud of what we have achieved. We're tired of working for long hours for no money, etc., etc. And I had to read through it several times. There's not even an ounce of an apologetic attitude or tone. Nothing. That really pisses me off. And I'm trying to remain level and not use foul language or become too emotional, but that is beyond... It's just awful type of behavior, and I don't think anything can justify that type of behavior. That's just absolutely awful. However, there is a bit of a good news. One of the users said in the comments that a thing that works, and I checked into it and it should work. If you're unfortunate enough to be one of these people who is now stuck in this limbo, no device, no refund, If you've paid via your Visa or your bank account, you should contact your bank directly and describe to them exactly what has happened, what the situation is, and it's most likely possible that they will be able to help you. I don't know exactly where in legal limbo the company lies and the refund policies lie, but I would advise of at least starting that process early on, because it's bound to take a long time. But there is a possibility that you might be able to actually get your money back. And you should do it, because you paid a lot of money and you did not get a product. You should get your refund back. The attitude of the company just blows my mind. It's you go to their website, there's nothing there, no info, contact info has been stripped, there's just some basic stuff there. There's no information that they went bankrupt, there's no apologies, there's nothing, literally nothing. And most likely they did not want to scam anyone, but because of their incompetencies and arrogance, they've actually gotten themselves into this situation. Furthermore, they've gotten a lot of other people into this situation, and that's a horrible thing, because it's not even an apology. That's the part that just rubs me the wrong way in completely, and I don't think it's justifiable at all. So my conclusion, my personal experience, and how I would wrap this whole story up with FlowMotion 1, I think that I would say that it's an awful experience all round. I am sorry that I ever ordered the device. I'm sorry that I ever reviewed this device, because I don't want to be associated with this whole story. It's a horrible thing what they've done. I think the behavior of the company and the company mentality was horrible. They had an excellent stabilizer, and they do have it. Its stabilizer is perfect. It really works fantastically, but overall it is a bad product. It's simply a bad, unfinished product, and I think it's inexperience, incompetence, and egos that actually led to a bad product overall and bad customer experience overall. Now this is going to be a two-part video. I wanted to keep this kind of review just in here, and since I am in this other boat of users who have the device, but the company is now bankrupt, so de facto there will be no support whatsoever, I wanted to actually test it out properly one more time in a real-world situation for my use case scenario, so that I can understand better what my status is regarding this device. Am I stuck with it, or am I happy to have it and it actually does something good for me? So with that in mind, head on over to the second video if you're interested. It's a really interesting and a lovely trip, a hike up to peak of the mountain, and I document the whole thing using the FlowMotion, and you can see the results, how it works, and I'm just gonna also post my conclusions regarding my use case scenario and what I think about it for my everyday use. Thanks for watching. I'm really sorry for the users who ended up in this situation because of this company. I think it's a horrible thing, but do try to contact your bank and explain the situation to them so that you can maybe get your refunds back. If somebody has a good idea of what an alternative product would be for this disaster, then please do post in comments. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.